Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back, ladies. How we doing? It's been a week since we started this journey in our overwhelm, how to deal with overwhelm in a big position, how to cope with the feeling of being overwhelmed. And I have a bonus training for you tonight. Are you ready? Are you inside the group? Are you tracking? This is just a little something that's called productivity pitfalls because now many of you are booking a call with me. Thank you very much. That's what's on. You go to joeleader.com/apply, get on my calendar. We're enrolling the June cohort of Completely Confident Leadership right now. So get on my calendar. There's a little plug for you. But as I'm chatting with some of you in the group, I am picking up a common theme that I was inspired to broadcast to all of us a little bit about the pitfalls of productivity. Because when you're overwhelmed, when you're finding yourself in a big new position or with a lot of responsibility stacked upon you, what so commonly happens for many of us is we get busy, right? We hunker down. We start trying to hack away at all of the things that we think need to get done so that we feel a lift in our task accomplishment, so we feel like we're on top of things, that we're not buried underneath them. But productivity is actually a razor edge and it has its own downfall. I want to talk about that now. If you have been elevated to a high level position, if you have been accustomed to being a high performing, high achieving, workflow crushing individual contributor, and you suddenly find yourself lofted up to an upper layer, to a promotion, to having more responsibility, the stress that you feel will likely have you shift into overdrive of doing more, because it's always worked for us before. It's sort of the habitual style of success that we have utilized to achieve results in the past when we felt overwhelmed. So tonight I'm going to talk about the four types of productivity traps, the four pitfalls of productivity, and why productivity and being productive and getting busy may not be the solution that you hoped for when you're feeling overwhelmed, and what to do instead. Okay, are you tracking? If you're here live, give me a wave, give me a hello. If you're on replay, give me a hashtag replay. Let's dig in. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is our biochemistry. That something happens inside our system with task accomplishment. There is a neurotransmitter known as dopamine, which is also called the reward hormone, which spurts and fires when we get a task done. When we are multitasking, when we are ticking and tying things off of our to-do list. Indeed, it's what flows through our system when we feel productive, when we feel like we're getting on top of things. But for those of us who have been doers and multitasking mavens for years, that you can take this too far. You can be swimming in a dopamine experience where you're spinning plates, right? You've got all of these things going on at the same time. Your to-do lists have to-do lists. You're hyper triple multitasking. You're moving at Mach speed. You are hyper tasking, double timing through all of the things that you have to do. Raise your hand and say, "That's me," if that's you. I certainly can relate. The problem with allowing for this learned behavior, this adaptation to having a big to-do list by just throwing yourself at all of the tasks and getting into accomplishment, getting into the mode of ticking things off your to-do list, getting in the mode of do, getting after it, staying busy, is that it sort of disconnects us from where we are deep inside. It's almost like we create this whirling dervish just outside of ourselves, and she's spinning, And deep inside, we're having a personal experience that is no longer honored by this character who is moving double, triple time, multitasking, getting things done, you know, moving fast and staying in task accomplishment without actually allowing for like a fulfilling check in with our soul purpose. She would say instead, just keep doing, just keep doing. Look at your list. You got to get after it. Get up early, stay late, right? And the problem then is that we become disconnected from some deeper sense of fulfillment as we're task accomplishing all the time. And it can lead to being very alienated in our own daily experience, where we come home tapped out, fried, empty, because we have just been feeding this monster all day and trying to crush our to-do list and keep looking at our email. It's sort of this recipe for burnout because it's all do and no think. Does that make sense? Hi, Michelle. It's that it's sort of this habit of being a rabbit. Just brrrr, right? And it will lead to burnout because you're not really thinking through what you need to do. You're just doing through what you think you need to do. So, this dopamine addiction is both very respected and um, very much honored in our workaholic society. It has people look up to us if we're super productive, but it comes at a cost, right? It comes at a cost of us really knowing ourselves and really consciously deciding what it is that we want to be doing and instead just feeling tugged around by all of our tasks. That's the first hazard, your first pitfall of being overly productive is disconnecting from yourself. The second one is very similar to this. It's that as you rise up, as you layer up, as you become a manager, a supervisor, as you become a director or C-suite, as you're managing workflow and processes and other people and big projects, your old patterns don't serve this new responsibility. This is the image that I like to call out and that some of my clients know and love. It's the idea that you are no longer an instrument player in the orchestra. You are the conductor. She who plays no instrument at all. She holds the baton and she orchestrates every other individual contributor playing their own part, bringing their own harmony in concert together. That's what she's supposed to do. If you fall into this old productivity pattern, the pitfall here is that you will be tempted to get off of your podium, put down your baton, and run over to the horn section or the string section or the percussion section and start playing. If you feel like something's lagging and your instinct, your trained habitual way of being has you using this old pattern, you will default into doing, which is a flawed thought because what you need bandwidth and space and energy for is to think, not do. You need space to plan and strategize, not execute. Not doing, not being an individual contributor, not digging in and actually accomplishing the work and writing the email or writing the project proposal or creating the slides or making the spreadsheet at first feels super uncomfortable. You will probably have some resistance to your feeling like it's lazy or that other people might judge you, like they're working so hard, they're hacking it out, they're getting underwater. You might feel tempted, you might feel triggered to jump in and help out. But it would be a flawed action because you would be assuming that your highest function in that moment is to do a task when really your highest function is to remain open to react and respond to what is coming up in the moment as your players are playing their instruments, as your staff are doing their activities. You need to keep open to be watching for what's going well and what's not going well. Who does need more education or redirection? Who's a high performer and can take more delegation? You won't be able to see that if you're not rising up and surveying the scene. You won't be able to see that if you just race over and start picking up an instrument and start playing. So the second pitfall of productivity is the temptation to adjust to new challenges with old behaviors. You follow? Hi, Susie Q. Give me a hell yeah if you feel this. And recognize that you will feel uncomfortable by having clean hands. I like to say, like, not digging in the dirt with your comrades, not feeling like you're one of the team, not, digging the row the way rest of the folks are. You might feel some unconsciously discomfortable feeling of not per- behaving in the identity that you've held before of being a doer. You might even have some bias against the clean hand manager who just directs people and doesn't really do anything. That can be a real hurdle to overcome as you rise up, as you do the right work. How do you handle the friction inside that tells you, oh gosh, I feel terrible, I feel lazy, I feel, how can I keep telling my staff to do stuff when I'm not doing it? So you want to be watching out for that. Those deep-seated behaviors that are embedded in a sense of identity of being a doer. Okay, you ready to move on? Double snap. The third way productivity can be a pitfall, there can be a trap, is that when we are feeding the productivity side of us, that reflex that likes to stay busy and stay in motion and hack on our to-do list, we're feeding deep-seated triggers with ineffective behavior. So this takes a little bit of inquiry for us to draw out where we feel defensive, where we are protecting ourselves against feeling something uncomfortable. But chances are you either really want people to like you really want to be significant and matter and be important, or you really want to be competent and on top of things and not fail. What I'm referencing here is a side training that I've often taught called FIRO, the Fundamental Interpersonal Relations Orientation Theory. It's a big mouthful, that says that we all have ways that we behave that protect something that feels like a soft spot, like not wanting to be ignored, not wanting to be humiliated, not wanting to be rejected. Chances are one of those or more are at their function as you're rising up and feeling vulnerable, and your staying in productivity is only feeding that belief: I'm not important enough, I'm not liked enough, I'm not competent enough. That you're staying in that motion of do, 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 so that you don't have to face those uncomfortable feelings of some belief error that you're harboring inside. Hi, Irene. So the challenge here, this productivity pitfall, is that you're sort of not doing the most important work as a leader to look at why you feel compelled to stay in motion and do tasks, even if it's lower level. And instead, you're just trying to feel good by staying in perpetual motion. Does that make sense how that could work? It's because you have deep-seated beliefs about what's valuable and how you're seen by others. And by staying productive, you're protecting that identity rather than fixing the flawed belief that has you behaving in such a way. It's kind of a complicated um, concept, But if you think about it, if you're feeling really tense and overwhelmed, you might just feel better when you're in action, when you're at least busy, when you're at least getting something done. I used to call this work crastination. It's like procrastinating in a productive way. Like what you really have to do is the budget, or what you really have to do is like this big hairy project. But instead, you'll want to do something else that's easier. So you'll clean your desk, or you'll recycle, or you'll work on some email, or you'll take care of an easier project to do than the really unwieldy one that has so much resistance. This concept that I'm sharing with you is the same. It's like there's some belief that you can hold that being productive assuages or allays the icky feeling of that belief, like I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not competent enough, I'm a fear of failing, they don't like me, they're not going to listen to me. If we just stay busy, we don't have to feel those feelings. And what I'm saying is the real work of a leader is to break up those feelings and deal with them productively rather than just stay in perpetual motion. All right? If you're liking this, say heck yeah. That was number 3. The fourth productivity pitfall, are you ready? Is that when you dig in and do all the tasks, when you stay in doing mode as you're elevated, instead of educating a team, motivating a team, enlisting a team, hiring a team, describing the bigger picture to the team, when you're not mentoring somebody or answering their question, when you're doing it, you are not doing all of those other really important leadership tasks. You steal growth from everybody else when you just do what you're really good at and you keep doing it. You are hurting the organization long term by solving a short term problem, meaning it's faster if I do it. I got it in my head. I did this process. I developed it. I know it inside and out. It'll take me 2 seconds to do it. I'll just do it. Anytime you're tempted to stay in action that way, to just take care of it myself, you are basically robbing the organization and other individuals from learning how to think, how to solve their own problems, how to be creative, or how to learn what you already know how to do. You're not scaling yourself by helping everybody think the way you do, or everybody do the way you do, or everybody just think at a higher level to solve problems. You're not letting that growth happen because you're holding on to the satisfaction of you being the producer, you being the individual contributor. Does that make sense? When you stay in action, when you keep doing the tasks, you're stealing discovery, growth, development, innovation, new ways from yourself, your team, and the organization. We need to grow people. This means that it's very uncomfortable at first. It takes twice as long, 3 times as long for other people to do what we're expert at, but it's the right thing to do to teach them, to let them fail forward, to let them discover where their own roadblocks are, for them to problem solve through layers, not just to depend on you to swoop in like the hero and fix everything. So Michelle says, but it can be such a super uncomfortable place with tough team members. Yeah. So if you have resistant people that are not really keen to be delegated to or to be grown, that's a whole other layer. But notice that just offers you more encouragement to step down a level, to come down a rung or two, and become a doer to solve the problem, rather than deal with the real hairy problem, which is you've got a poor performer, or you've got a resistant teammate, or you've got somebody who's negative that needs to change their mantra or change their the way that they're infusing poor morale in the rest of us. That's the real task for you, not to shift into the easiest groove, which is I'll just get it done. I can do it tonight. I'll take it on. Are you following? I know it's super uncomfortable. Michelle says, I don't know how to do this job though. Oh, do his job. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Then there's another challenge. What if you're the conductor of the orchestra that has never played the violin or doesn't really know a wind instrument? That doesn't mean that all the great conductors of the universe are expert at playing all the instruments. No, that's actually not true. The way that we need to be a great boss, a great leader, a great project manager, a great conductor, a great director is figuring out how to get the work done even when we're not the subject matter expert. We have to ask really good questions. We have to enlist a wider range of people. Hi, Wanda. We have to find ways that it's almost better when you don't know exactly how to solve the issue because it will force you to problem solve in the more effective way than just the doer's way. So, all you gals that I'm calling out, you're already clients, you're already in my network, you already have access to me, so I can coach you individually on what your hurdles are, what your difficult personality person is, what your challenging situation is. So, Voxer me, use your voice text messenger access so that we can work this out, or you'll schedule a one-on-one call with me. But for the rest of ya, first of all, you should book a call with me. Get on my calendar at joeleader.com/apply so that we can talk about getting you inside of completely confident leadership so you get the help, the training, the leadership guidance that you need. But also, bigger picture, just for this night that we're discussing, I want to tell you there is such a juicy result for you on the other end of doing this hard work, of resisting, stepping down, and just being a doer. You can actually have freedom. You can have time and space to think, to consider, to evaluate, to adapt midstream because you're not running around hair on fire. You're not tasked out. You're not so busy and so overwhelmed. The joy of that is you can have nights and evenings off, nights and weekends off. You can have hobbies. You can do things that you enjoy. You can shift gears in and out of work. You can rise above. You can exercise more. You can get more sleep. You can have more joy in your life because you're drawing a boundary. I'm not just going to take everything on. I'm not just going to like layer all the tasks on me. I've decided already. I'm going to enlist others, and if they're too busy or if they don't know how, then I'm going to find another way to solve the problem. I'm going to find somebody who can teach. I'm going to borrow staff from other areas in the organization. I'm going to reframe the deadline. I'm going to create another boundary. That's the work I'm going to do. That's the level of problem solving. I'm going to ensure my team doesn't get burned out, starting with me. I'm going to be a model for work-life balance, and I'm going home at 5:05 and I'm going to enjoy being present in my life. You gals know who you are. You're going to go home and garden. You're going to go home and make a fire in your outdoor fire pit. You're going to go home and you're going to watch your son in his track meet. You're going to go home and you're going to take pictures of your daughter in her prom dress. You're going to live your full life. You're at a certain level now where you do not have to sacrifice nights and weekends to prove yourself. That stuff is done and it never was the right way anyway. Okay, ladies, if you need help with drawing these kind of boundaries, with knowing how to lead at this level, how to level up so that you can be the conductor and not the doer, it is time. This group that you're in right now closes at the end of May, May 31st. We got 5 days left for you to get on my calendar. Boop, boop, boop. You want to go to www.joeleader.com/apply and see all the details of my completely confident leadership program. Get on my calendar so we can discuss if this is right for you. And chances are, if this is resonating for you, if you want more ease, if you want to feel release from the productivity pitfall, if you want to find a new way to level up so that you're not so stressed in your career that you're thinking of just quitting, just punting, just opting out, just bailing, just giving notice. There's a different way that you can handle this layer of stress, even in a company culture that would have you work a 60-hour week and not even bat an eye. I'm standing for that. I can show you the way. I learned it for myself first, and now I can teach you. So, you probably know everything there is to know about my program if you've been tracking me for a while, but now I'll explain it in more detail. You want to get on my calendar before the beginning of June because starting in June, we are launching a whole new segment within my Completely Confident Leadership course. For those gals who are here and our alumni, it's called the Best Boss series, where we're learning how to be that legacy leader that we long to be, the one that can onboard people and acculturate people and grow people and coach and mentor people and inspire people. Whole new level of leadership. But that's the bonus. Let's talk about the basics. When you join Completely Confident Leadership, you get first an comprehensive leadership assessment that I then debrief with you one on one so that you can see so clearly your brilliant strengths and your operating system, the way that you get things done and the easiest way to do it. And the way that you might be holding yourself back. I call it driving with your foot on the brake. How are you getting results, but then also um, tamping down your results? Where are you getting in your own way? This leadership assessment shows it. That's the first piece. You also get immediate access to my complete members only area that has all of our curriculum in a sequential order that you keep for a lifetime. The third piece is you start joining our group calls where you get coached every single week on one of those lessons so that you integrate the lesson for yourself, so that you really can bring it inside into your personal situation and get coached on where you have resistance or where it's in your blind spot, because you really want to integrate these in a complete way. So it's not just this concept that you heard on a podcast once, but it's something that you actually learn how to do. The fourth piece is you get access to me on our groovy walkie-talkie app called Voxer. It is this wonderful free app that you download on your phone. All my clients have it, and it allows you to voice or text message me anytime that you have a real life situation come up that you want coaching on. This is probably the most valuable tool within my whole program because it allows you to get coaching and have a quantum leap aha moment with support or a reframe or a perspective shift or some guidance right in the moment when you need it. Super high value. The fifth piece is we are all in a private Facebook group where we support each other and cheer each other on and support each other's wins and have a community like nowhere else on the internet. And then the two extra bonuses are that you get access to the alumni call every Sunday. Many of the gals that are joining to me tonight are part of my alumni group, where we take the lessons in kind of a 2.0 fashion, where we take them deeper, where I introduce new curriculum, where they continue to get learning, support, guidance, mentorship in their leadership journey. When you're a regular student, you can double up your group coaching calls by joining the regular student call and adding on the alumni call. And then the last bonus is this. I have a special public speaking workshop that I do every now and then throughout the calendar to uplevel your speaking skills. Did you know that I am also a public speaking coach? I have coached thousands of people on how to give effective, distraction-free seminars, workshops, speeches, so that you're not nervous, so that you're not playing in your mind all of this doubt and self-judgment, so that you can get rid of the panic and fear that comes with public speaking and become more effective at this really important leadership skill. So that's all the bits that you get. It's super awesome. It's a 5-month program. You can have it for less than $500 a month. I think it is a massive value for you on your leadership journey to have this kind of support, leaning, learning, input from a like-minded community, the sisterhood, the bonus lessons, and all the skills that you need to level up your leadership. All right, ladies, that's it from me now. Go to joeleader.com/apply. Find a space on my calendar so that we can meet in real life, talk about your situation and how I can help you. The June cohort launches the week of June 5th. So now's the time to get on my calendar so that we can discuss how I can support you, how this program can get you real lasting results so that you overcome overwhelm for good in the pleasant community of the Sisterhood of Completely Confident Women. All right, thanks for joining me tonight. Have a lovely long weekend. Check out the videos while they're still live because everything comes down on May 31st. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.